Welcome to the Sounding Board. My name is Nellie High Iredale. I'm the Sounding Board Chair. This is Oceanids' 68th year, which is an official support group of the university. The Sounding Board is a joint effort of the Faculty Club and Oceanids. Our honorary chair is Justine Kabulakis, Associate of the Chancellor, and our president, Nigella Hilgert. In Oceanids, we raise money for grants and awards for students, support other UCSD events, and activities such as the student-run free clinic. We offer many events for our members, and Sounding Board is one of these events. We would love to have you as a member, and I encourage you to join. It's only $35 per year. We are happy to see you via Zoom. We have this event every first Thursday of the month throughout the academic year, except for January. As a reminder, we are recording this event and posting it in our YouTube channel. If you could please mute yourselves, we will have the presentation and a few minutes afterwards for questions. Now, I would like to introduce to you our speaker, Dr. Edith Eger. A little about her very extensive bio. Dr. Edith is a native of Hungary. She was 16 years old in 1944 when she experienced one of the worst evils the human race has ever known. As a Jew living in Nazi-occupied Eastern Europe, she and her family were sent to Auschwitz, the heinous death camp. Her parents lost their lives there. She and her sister survived, even though they were subjected to horrible treatment by Dr. Joseph Mengele, and survived the death march in Austria. In 1949, she and her young family moved to the United States. In 1969, she received her degree in psychology from the University of Texas, El Paso. She then pursued her doctoral internship at William Beaumont Army Medical Center in Texas. She has spent much of her professional time working with members of the military, helping them to recover from PTSD. Dr. Eger has always found ways to use her personal experiences to inspire, educate, and help others. She has a clinical practice in La Jolla, California, where she uses her past, a powerful analogy, to inspire people to reach their potential and shape their destinies. In the fall of 2017, at age 90, her memoir, The Choice, Embrace the Possible, was published. In her book, she details how the synergy of working with and learning from her patients' perspectives has enriched her life experiences and outlook. Among several important awards, it was a New York Times bestseller and it's internationally acclaimed. Her second book, The Gift, 12 Lessons to Save Your Life, was released in September 2020 and immediately became a bestseller in the UK and Ireland. In this book, she gives actionable advice to assist every person facing life's difficulties in a positive and healthy manner. Both books are being translated into more than 30 languages. It will be an organic talk with Dr. Eger. The main subject is inviting people to be in the present and learn from the past. She will speak for about 30 minutes and we will have a few minutes for questions at the end. Please, Dr. Edith, go ahead. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for the wonderful, wonderful introduction. And I hope all of you will reach 94 and celebrate, because you have to be old to be young. You know, like, what are you holding on to? What are you ready to let go of? And one of the things that I think about immediately when I speak to others, what are you willing to let go of, would be that you let go of the need for other people to approve of you. But not everybody is going to approve of us, and not everybody is going to want to be in your presence. And as long as you have self-love, which is self-care, And that's not narcissistic. We say that here many, many times every day because there'll never be another you or you or you or you. And I'm so happy that you showed up. And I want to know, what would you like from me for you, other than give up the need for other people's approval? Anybody?
Uh, eh, would anybody like to participate with Dr. Edie?
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
How about that?
Wait, someone's coming on.
Good.
I mean, we were going to wait for questions for a little bit longer, Edie.
Okay.
So,
We could keep speaking, Edie, if you like. I remember you wanted to speak a little bit about the January the 6th events.
January the 6th.
January 6th was very, very sad. I never really realized that in America, someone is wearing a shirt that said that 6 million was not enough. And unfortunately, history has a tendency to repeat itself. And I'm hoping that the white supremacy group is not going to, unfortunately, bring back and again promote prejudice. Prejudice means to prejudge. And I was told in Auschwitz that I'm never going to get out of here alive. The only way I will get out of here is a corpse. And today I ask people, when people are angry in English, they use the word you. You are stupid, you are this, and you are that. And you say to yourself, the more they talk, the more relaxed I become. You take the negative stimuli, immediately turn it into positive because you are practicing your low frustration tolerance level. So I beg of you to think about your thinking and pay attention what you're paying attention to and live in the present, because I can only touch you now. I do live in the present, and I think young, but not young and foolish. So if a man takes me out on a date and asks me how old I am or how old I was in Auschwitz, I'm going to ask him to take me home, because I'm not interested in numbers. I'm interested in attitude.
Thank you, Dr. Edie.
Thank you. Next question, please.
I remember you wanted to talk to us about the reflection of an importance of empowering each other as a human family, despite our differences.
Yes, I do have a dream, just like Martin Luther King, that someday we're going to empower each other with our differences, that we can truly be brothers and sisters and form a human family, so we can finally survive in this wonderful place. And I am celebrating every moment, because we don't seem to appreciate what we have until we lose it. I have a hard time throwing out a piece of bread. When I'm in a restaurant, chances are I will eat up your food if you don't, or I'll just take it from you, eat it, or take it home with me, whatever it is. But I don't ever waste, ever, anything called food. And I think it's important for us now to really ask ourselves, what am I holding on to and what am I willing? Willing is a very good word, a very good English word. Are you willing to maybe ask for what you want? Because in marriage, you really don't have a marriage until you give and take and tolerating differences. That you can be you and I can be me, but together we're much stronger. As it was in Auschwitz, all we had was each other then, and all we have is each other now. So thank you for showing up, for looking forward to be a one of a kind person that God put you here. So when you are in your deathbed, you're going to be very satisfied and very happy. I know I will die happy. And there is something between birth and death called life. So do you have a lifestyle? Do you have a lifestyle? Do you eat well? Do you sleep at night? Or do you have a death style that you drink and then you are up at night? And it's just really important, the decision that we make, and think about our thinking and then see how we can put it into action. So my work has to do with grieving, feeling, and healing. You cannot heal what you don't feel. It's okay to cry because what comes out of your body doesn't make you ill. What stays in there does. And I didn't tell anyone when I came to America, ever, where I was at the age of 16. I had my secret. And then my secret had me. So be careful. You just can't run away from the past. You can't fight it. It's better to face it and recognize that darkness gives you the light from within, that you don't wait from somebody to come from the outside and liberate you. And that's what I'm bringing to you now. This year has been totally unexpected, totally unanticipated, and you made it. It's easier to die than to live. I was very suicidal after I was liberated because I saw my parents not coming up. And so I said to myself, not why, why my parents are not coming back, and reality just hit me. And I know that God told me that if you die now, you may be not having an opportunity to recognize that you can be for something rather than against. I don't have time to hate, because if I would hate, I would still be a prisoner. I refuse to be a victim. I was victimized. It's not who I am. It's not my identity. It's what was done to me. So I want to tell every one of you to hopefully recognize that half of you is your mother and half of you is your father. So make peace with your parents. I hope you can. And don't try to change your parents. They are who they are. And see how you can find a whole family inside you. The little girl, the little boy that cries for a healthy mom, for a healthy caregiver. And so it's a decision that you make and then put the decision into action. So that is, sometimes I know, especially teenager, we're talking about plans and the future, and they tell me it's a good idea, and I'm gonna. I call them gonna people. Gonna people, they always gonna, but they never are. They stuck, they're constipated. And when you're constipated, you concentrate on a movement. So keep walking, and just see to it that you are the best thing that God has created for a purpose. You make a difference. You make a difference to be able to change, because change is synonymous with growth. If you don't change, you don't grow. And that's what Albert Einstein said, that you go and do the same thing over and over again, and you expect different results, which means that's the definition of
Insanity.
insanity. So where are you going now to plan the next year? Because when I was 40, my supervisor told me to go get my doctorate. And I told him it is impossible because by the time I get a doctorate, I will be 50 or even older. And he told me something I'm telling you, you'll be 50 anyway. That is not one thing you can change about the numbers. I am 94. I never felt younger and clearer about celebrating every moment of life. I hope that you can really, truly practice self-love, which is, I already told you, self-care. Selfish people don't like themselves either, so everything has not a punishment, but a consequence.
Thank you,
So-
Dr. Edie. One more question about the subjects that we were touching on today. What are the steps of what's your advice so we don't stay revolving? How do we evolve? What steps are first? What should we do about something such a powerful word as evolving, please?
Yes, I think the best thing God has given us is our brain. And that's why it's so important to think about your thinking, because your thinking will create the feeling, not the other way around. See, when you have sadness in you, chances are you are thinking negative thoughts, and no matter what you do, it's going to end bad, not good. So hope is something that I cherish. I find a hope everywhere, every time, in everything. Auschwitz was an opportunity to discover hope, to be able to actually look at the guards, that they were the prisoners, not me. And they were wearing a uniform that was based on a lie. A lie. And that's why we have to be thinking about our thinking. Many people would go from generation to generation and thinking that victims are weak and victimizers are strong. So you can somehow see many times victims becoming victimizers. We call it the Stockholm Syndrome. I think it's very important for you to get up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, Ivan, I love you. Amy, I love you. Carol, I love you. And Stephen, Leon, I hope you love you. It's wonderful to have a man in your life, not a male, a man who is a good role model, a teacher, a man. In my language, we call it a Mensch. It's a good German word, a Mensch. A Mensch who says what he thinks, who doesn't lie, who is not putting on some kind of a personality. So I'm so happy that you join us. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Dr. Edie. And I know that Dr. Edie wants to make this an organic and participating event. So if you could please raise your hand virtually, I can go one by one and click with in your name. We have a question from a participant from Czechoslovakia, Dr. Eger. She's saying greetings from Prague, and she's asking she's saying how to keep positive and talk to our children. How do we talk to our children when the world is in such convulsion, climate, and intolerance? How to talk to our children about that, please?
Before I say that, I want to tell you that my favorite food It's called Vepshava zezaline, and that's a pork roast with some fabulous dumplings. I hope that's what you're going to have tonight for dinner. Here I go into food. I think the way you talk to children is to become a compassionate listener. Don't ask, how are you? And don't say, why don't you? No questions and no advice. Meet a child where they are, but treat them as if they were what they're capable of becoming. If I talk to a 10-year-old child, I assure you, I will not say, sounds like you have a cognitive dissonance. They don't know that word. So I think it's very important for us to repeat what we hear so you know that you are on the same page. I think children don't do what we say, they do what they see. So the best thing for a child is a happy marriage.
Thank you, Dr.
So marry
Edie.
yourself, marry yourself, marry yourself, self-love. Marry yourself when you start the morning. Recognize that life is just one day. One day. I am at the evening time in my life, and let me tell you, I never felt freer, younger, telling people what happened when good people do bad things, very bad things. I want to know that my parents didn't die in vain. I want to tell people what good people can do, unfortunately, under certain circumstance. So you question authority. That's what I want children to do. Question authority and never blindly adhering to authority. My precious Katie, who is with me now, we know each other for many, many years. She knows already every word I'm going to say because I'm kind of preaching a little bit to tell people that you are here for a purpose, that you're not waiting for anybody to come and liberate you and take care of you. And I think Auschwitz, I like to call it an opportunity, not to recover, but to discover the true self that you gave up to fit your family dynamics. Your
Thank you.
true self.
Thank you, Dr. Edie. And Dr. Edie, would you like to share with us? I have your book here with me. My virtual background doesn't allow me to show it too much, but what one thing about your book that you would like to leave us with, the one thing that you could highlight as the most important of the choice, please?
One thing from the choice. Your mother?
My mother in the cattle car hugged me. And that's what I say to young people. She said, we don't know where we're going. We don't know what's going to happen. Just remember, no one can ever take away what you put in your mind. So watch the Karate Kid movie, and it tells you that the best power is brain power. And so I tell young people not to smoke pot and to be able to create a theory, something that will be put into action, because when you're just a gono person, you're going nowhere. You just keep going around like Alice in the Wonderland to be sure that you go nowhere. So I'm hoping you will pick an arrow, I like to call it, an arrow, and that's going to be the goal for you, that you're not going to revolve, but to evolve. And I hope you can do it even today, so you do not want to procrastinate. And you know what? You procrastinate if you are a perfectionist. If you are a perfectionist, you want to be more than human. So accept the fact that you're human, you make mistake, and you still matter because there'll never, ever be another you or you or you. Isn't it wonderful? There'll never be another you. And I'm so happy that my sister is 100 years old according to my figuring, because I always was good with numbers. But she'll tell you that she's 99. I don't know why 1 year makes a difference. So my sister is 99 to her, that the next year she's going to be 100. So that means she's going to have two 200th birthdays. But when we were there naked, my sister looked at me and I became her mirror. I recognized. And the question was, how do I look? It's a kind of a typical Hungarian woman who is really caring a lot about looks. So instead of telling Magda the way she really looked, with the bald head and the body all naked, I said to Magda, Magda, you have such beautiful eyes, and I didn't see it when you had your hair all over the place. She still remembers that. So unless it's kind and unless it's necessary, don't talk. Be a listener and just repeat what you're hearing, because many times people don't know how to share silence. I think it's so good to just share silence. I had a wonderful boyfriend who died, and I did the driving, and it was wonderful to hold hands, to be able to just share silence. And I hope that you can really pay attention to your self-dialogue. I hope you are acknowledging that your stomach is really associated with your brain. And I hope that you find that special you that you're going to take to next year. And next year is going to be different, because hopefully we're not going to have the year that we experience now, that we were not prepared for at all. We were told one thing and we found another. And I hope we're not going to have any of those next year.
Thank you, Dr. Edie. And we are ready for questions from our audience. Please, if you would like to raise your hand virtually, or I can check here if I don't see virtual hands, I can also check briefly on the images, or we also have a chat room. Dr. Edie, about the self-dialogue, when you are trapped in a negative self-dialogue, how do you get out of that?
You don't get out of anything unless you replace it with something else. I think that's important to know, because we keep going back the same thing, rather than saying this chapter is gone, but the book has yet to be written. That I was always in the future in Auschwitz. When I get out of here, I'm going to show my boyfriend that I have beautiful eyes, because that's what he told me, and I have beautiful hands. I always ask everyone, tell me about my hands. You know, my boyfriend and I were Zionists. We were going to go to Palestine and be going to fight. We were very militaristic, to tell you the truth. We were the fighters, and we're going to go to Palestine. And my boyfriend was killed a day before liberation. I would like to have a movie done to honor him, because he was killed a day before liberation. And his name was Eric in Hungary, and it was Imre Friedman. And we were very serious. We had our book club, interpretation of dreams by Freud, we were very erudite and serious thinkers. And I know that you came today because you're curious. And that's what helped me to survive more than anything else, my curiosity. I want to know what's going to happen next. Good things are going to happen next. You're going to get younger, you're going to get wiser, not smart, but wise. Just like Fiddler on a Roof. When she decides that her husband has to know that he makes all the decisions in the world, and guess who makes all the decisions in the world? Because she gives up her ego needs. So you get up something and hold it in your hand and see whether it's useful to you. Some things that maybe have been big use to you, it's no longer there. And that's why change is synonymous with growth.
Thank you, Dr. Edie. Edie, we know that you have to leave soon, and it's hard to wrap up with this very interesting conversation, but we cannot thank you enough for being here with us. This presentation is very important to us, and we all love you. We all send love to you. Any other person that would like to have a last question, please?
I would like to make a date for next year that you meet again. So you call my precious Katie girl, who really doesn't have to work so hard, but she does. She works like a horse and does everything, and you don't even know that she did it. And she doesn't have any ego needs either. But I really don't know how I could function without her.
Well, we can set something up for next year too.
Can we do it?
Yeah, of course.
She says we can set up something. So who's gonna do it?
Yes, we will set that up. And I know that Nana has a question. Are you there, Nana?
Yes, can you
Go
hear
ahead.
me?
We can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, well, it's the same question in a different format that you had. You know, we repeat ourselves and our errors, and it's stupid. And you
Okay,
know,
Mary.
it's with relationships and with anything. When we know it's not going to get the right response, is there anything a step that one could take to stop the wheel going around in the stupidity of our humanness?
So when you're stuck, how do you get the kind of the stuck thoughts to is there something you can do to stop that? How do you stick a stick in the wheel?
Well, we have a tendency to always do what is familiar. Anything new can be very scary because we have the fear of the unknown. So the best English four-letter word it starts with an R. What do you think it is? Risk, risk. So I can come to you and tell you, I like to get to know you. I hope you would like to get to know me too. I really would like to have a friend like you. And you tell me that that sounds pretty good. And you really are not interested. Not now, for sure. Now look what happened. The word rejection is not mean anything because no one can reject me but me. As long as you don't take it personally and say to the person, thank you very much, and then I say next, that you're not evolving, you don't say, but now you know where you stand with me, so you're still better off to risk and trying something new that you even never thought was possible. So keep on walking, keep on. I'm climbing a mountain, and I sleep and I climb, and I never stop climbing. That's where I am at 94. Thank you. You have a wonderful way of approaching a person like me and asking really a wonderful question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Edie. And a last comment from a person that loves you from Guadalajara, Mexico, and you sent her your book. She says, "Dear Edie, I would like to thank you for your great advices and for sharing all your love and changing my life." So
Thank you.
with that, we can wrap up. We can say thank you, Edie. We all love you. Thank you for changing our lives. Thank you for your
Thank you.
sharing your experiences and your books. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Nellie.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Katie.
And a happy Hanukkah.
Happy
A couple of-
Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, Dr. Edie. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.